Ladies and gentlemen, Tech Tea Talk number 6. Welcome. Today I have a couple of stories, 5 to be exact. So grab a cup of tea and get cozy. I've been thinking a little bit how I should start off these series. What is the mood I'm trying to set and everything? It's something I gotta figure out over time. Do what you please. Alright? Just lean back and consume some tech news with me. Have a good time if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't need to. You know what I'm saying? So, let's just get right into it. The first story is about, let me scroll to the top here. The first story is about how Russia is apparently trying to land on the moon again, which is, it just caught my attention. Like, oh, are we landing on the moon again now? It's an unmanned mission though, so it's not as exciting as it might sound initially. Otherwise, we probably would have heard about it. But they're trying to make their attempt at making a successful lunar landing, the first successful one since 1976. So that's like 47 years since they actually did it. That's a long time. A lot of things have changed in the world since. I read through this article and you can see that they have tried 3 times, as far as I understood. Since in 96, 2 in 96 and 1 in 2011, which all of them landed and they crash landed in the Pacific Ocean. They didn't get there, so they've been unable to achieve it again. But last Friday, they sent this rocket off, and apparently it's going to take 5 days to land. So what that gives, so let's say Saturday, Sunday, it's like Wednesday. We should look out for news on if it landed or not. And I just think it's exciting. You know, let's get to the moon again, and let's get some manned missions to the moon, and let's get some live streaming of the manned missions to the moon, and get some exciting developments in the space exploration field. Right? It's been dead for a long time. In fact, it's been dead my whole life, so I haven't even really experienced it. I can only imagine how cool it would have been back then when, you know, people were just starting to have television, and then you could all of a sudden see live streaming, or I don't know if it was, well, I guess it was, of people walking on the moon, right? Crazy shit, right? So I'm just excited for that. I know Russia isn't really the most, he's not the coolest guy right now, Russia, because of the whole Ukraine situation and stuff like that. But try to look a little bit broader than that, and Russia has been pretty advanced in the rocket science field. I remember hearing. I remember actually Elon Musk talking about at one point when he started, or back when he was trying to start SpaceX, he went to Russia to try to see if he could buy some of their rockets because they were apparently the best ones at the time. But that didn't really work out as far as I understood. But then they just decided to build their own. But it just made me think about, all right, maybe they probably got some tech over there in Russia, space technology wise. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what we're gonna if they're gonna be successful at it. And generally, I've also been noticing how NASA have been announcing the plans for some lunar missions again. I don't actually even know if SpaceX is going there. I feel like they probably will too. It's just like let's get going. Let's get some things going. That's very exciting to me. It's very fun. That was just it. Not a whole lot of in-depth details. I also have a limited interest in it, to be honest with you, about all the specifics. I just like to see some rockets going out in space and landing on other planets or whatever, moons or whatever, right? Especially if there are people on it. But there aren't at the moment. But maybe there will be sooner or later if they start being successful with stuff like this. Obviously, you don't want to, if they've been 3 times unsuccessful, you don't want to send out people, right? Who would want to go on there? So it makes sense. They're going to prove themselves. Very interesting. It's going to be interesting to actually see if Russia are going to achieve reusable rockets like SpaceX. I feel like if you're in the space industry right now, you're seeing what SpaceX is doing, you have to be considering trying to fucking replicate some of what they're doing. Otherwise, you might be on some lackluster stuff. But we'll see. All right, next story. Let's go to the top here. CEO claims X, formerly Twitter, is close to break even. Is Linda Yaccarino, who's the new CEO of Twitter. You guys probably know who she is. And well, it just caught my attention because we all remember how it was like he acquired Twitter for like whatever was it 47 billion, and then he reevaluated at like 20 something billion, and that's a loss of 20 billion. And he's been talking pretty recently even about how it was running really on some red numbers on the bank account in terms of cash flow going in a negative route, right? And just suboptimal cash flow, yes. But then obviously they fired a lot of people from 8,000 down to 1,500 people, which is a big layoff, and something I think is really, like, it's crazy that you have to have 8,000 people working for a social media company, right? That's wild. I mean, 1,500 should be enough, it's a software, right? But I don't know the specifics, but I've heard from us that, heard him say that it's you want the minimalism to take its place in the running of these companies. It makes sense, right? Cut off unnecessary stuff that's slowing down the whole process, and a bunch of it's hard to manage 8,000 people, right? It's also hard to manage 1,500 people, but sure as hell must be a little bit easier than 8,000. Something like that. And then they have been obviously introducing Twitter Blue, or now called X Blue, where people pay a low monthly fee to have the blue check and to get some different features and stuff like that. And they've been, Yakarino is like a ads person, marketing person, so she has also had the role of bringing in companies to advertise again and getting some healthy relationships there. And it seems to be working, because now apparently they are very close to break even, which is much quicker than I imagined. I heard him talk about how they would achieve it. Like Musk talk about how they would achieve it at some point. It was heading that direction, but already, which is pretty cool. And I mean, it's just good for the business, good for the X business. Not a lot more to say about that. It's numbers, it's math, it's finances going in a good direction. So good to hear. And I kind of like how Linda Yaccarino seems to align pretty well with Musk's guidelines. They talk about here at one point about Kanye West, some controversy about how he's been let back on the platform and stuff like that. But where they also just state that it's important that we want to prioritize freedom of speech, and that means that you might have people on the platform that you don't agree with, or that you might even strongly disagree with them or dislike them or whatever. But then just don't like them. But they're still going to be allowed to be on the platform, as long as they're not there are certain things, right, where if you're inciting for actual physical violence and trying to plan out a terrorism strike or something on the platform, they're going to push down on that and get that removed, right? And obviously they're blocking certain graphic explicit content, pornography and stuff like that that's not supposed to be there. There are, again, as I told about earlier, there are certain things you want to have a tight line regarding, but for the most part, let's let people be there. So here it is. When asked about figures like Kanye West, an extremely vocal anti-Semite who's planning to return to Twitter, Yaccarino parroted Musk's talking point that what's the core of freedom of expression is you might not agree with what everyone is saying. And that's just word. Hell yeah. Good to see. Good to hear that they're apparently breaking even soon. That was that story. Next story. So, AI supercharges drug discoveries, potentially changing medicine. This is a very in-depth article about a bunch of stuff regarding different companies. But one thing I noticed is that NVIDIA invested $15 million into this company called Recursion, who is using AI to find out. So let's see here. Recursion combined a database of 15,000 human proteins from AlphaFold 2, the product of an AI research organization within Google called DeepMind, with another containing 36 billion molecules. A supercomputer and cloud computing power from NVIDIA were then used to crunch the massive trove of data. So it's really using AI to really analyze a buttload of data to get to a point where they can see. Recursion says it's conducted about 2.2 million experiments per week thanks to AI models, and has collected 25 petabytes of data. Are we talking humongous amounts of data here? Which is the power of AI and supercomputers, being able to really analyze data at a level that humans could never. And thanks to that, we might be able to discover new what do you call that, like medicines and stuff like that, to help alleviate the bad side of human endeavors, right? So that's just good. It's good to see. It's this type of thing that when I think about AI, I'm like the positive angle of AI is that if it can really go in here and become like the artificial, overhead god helper that can really help us humans truly achieve greatness, right? That's epic. What's the loss there, And so it's nice to see something like this. Obviously, always, if you want to go and read deeply into the article, you can just go search it up and dig deep down into it. I keep it a little bit shorter here so that we can get across different topics. But interesting, and nice to see. Good to hear. AI helping drugs. We've been talking about how we should find the cure for cancer, and how scientists, prominent scientists, you tell your grandson, I hope you grow up and find the cure for cancer and become a great scientist or whatever. That has been tried for many years, and we've only slowly crawled closer to that situation. But I think the advent of AI might actually make it so that finding an actual a high hit cure for cancer might be very much feasible, alongside a lot of other diseases and stuff like that. So it's just cool to hear. I like it. All right, fourth story. Supreme Court says that Apple can keep its App Store payments rules for now, and this is regarding the Epic Games App Store Apple lawsuit or case that went to the Supreme Court, and they apparently now have rejected Fortnite's or Epic's request to make Apple loosen its App Store rules in terms of they take a little fee every time. I think it's like a 30% cut actually of every time there's a payment done in the app. So it's especially important when talking about Epic and Fortnite with what are they called? Fortnite coins. I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about. The Fortnite V-Bucks. A long time since I said that word. But V-Bucks, there's a lot of transactions going towards that. But if Apple takes 30% of all the fucking transactions, that's a lot of money that's lost from Epic. And Epic are like, it's anti-competitive that you're just taking all this money and then you're doing that. And they took it to court, but Apple has now won, at least for now. But it seems like yeah. And I heard someone, I think it was in the comments actually. Let me see. Okay, I don't know actually, but I read somewhere that somebody mentioned that it's like it's their store, like it's Apple's store. They can pretty much do like most things, right? And I read somebody else comparing it to what if there's like let's say like it was you buy like an energy drink, like a Monster energy drink in Target, and then Target has a price on it, but then Monster energy drink are allowed to have a little paper note next to the Monster energy drinks in Target that says go to our website to get it cheaper, type of thing. That's what Epic were trying to do to be able to let people pay outside of, like, pay on their platform through their payments transaction system, whatever, so they can get a higher cut. But it's like, that's kind of not, it doesn't make sense. They wouldn't allow Monster Energy Drink to do that in Target, and Apple won't allow Epic Games to do it in their App Store, type of thing, right? So I can see that being a fair point. The only thing that's against that is that, the App Store there's like, we got Target, we got other different stores, a lot of competition there in terms of grocery stores, whatever, physical stores. And it's easier in theory. I guess it's not easier for Monster Energy Drink to open their own store. They wouldn't do that. So, it's like, but the thing is, though, if you're on an iPhone, you can only go to the App Store and get apps. That's the thing, right? Which actually, I recently saw somewhere that the EU is trying to make a law that, or pass a law that should allow people to download from other places, like you can do on Android, if you know that. But at the moment, it's like there's only that one store, so it's like that's the monopolistic situation here, where you are in App Store and you have to pay the 30%, or you can't be nowhere else. If you could be somewhere else, then it would make sense that you can't just, you have to accept Apple Store's policies or make your own, but you can't make your own. So that makes it a little bit, too limited, I can see from Epic's side of the story. But, yeah, I guess it's fine. I guess it's fair. I'm kind of on both sides of the situation. And because of that, I'm fine with Apple winning, fair enough, It's not like Epic Games ain't fucking banking in enough money, although it's not like Apple ain't banking in enough money either. So, different sides to the story, that's always how it is. But, yeah, super. All right, cool. That was that. All right, so, the last story, actually, let's just go find a little picture of this one. Let's see if we can do this. All right, cool. This is not a story. This is my own story. There's a little story time here. Hold on. I was walking down the street yesterday, and a thought entered my mind, and I was like, all right, hold on. Let me just talk about this on TTT tomorrow as part of my tech news thing here, right? So. I was very intrigued back when the Vision Pro headset was released. Couldn't even almost believe that Apple were actually going to release. An AR headset at this moment in time, where a lot of people saying the industry is dead. Meta is really, firing all the people and shutting down the whole thing, right? Movement. At least that was rumored. I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe they're starting it up again now that they're seeing Apple is entering the game. You saw renders and stuff like that, leaks about how it would have like a battery bank, all that different stuff. And it just hit me like, I don't know. I feel like I had the thought that Apple would only release an AR headset once it got to a point where it would be like a light little thing you can, well, not necessarily just tiny, but like at least like a little. Maybe a little bit like the X-Real, I think that's what they called those AR headsets that were called something else before. They called X-Real AR now. X-Real Air, I actually think. Talking about. Right, anyways, so but I think like, aren't they gonna wait until it's like that, till the technology is advanced enough to the point where you can just put on a little light headset and you have like AR stuff everywhere, and you can walk around with them, you can wear them. Like you wear AirPods everywhere. It would be this thing that they release it, and just within a matter of months, or maybe tops 6 months or something, it's just adopted by everyone, and it's fairly cheap. Again, it's Apple price, but not hella expensive. But then it released this, Apple Vision Pro, which is $3,500, and it's released at a developer conference, and it's a very big, bulky, extremely advanced and technologically impressive piece of kit, obviously. Sorry. It's extremely advanced and very, very impressive. So I'm not hating on that at all. It is, but I think that just truly shows so that the technology is still not at the point where it's really truly epic now. But that is what hit me though, because part of what makes the Apple Vision Pro a little bit bigger and bulkier is that it has a full-on like high-end or a computer chip on the thing, right? And it's like a double screened type of thing as well. There's a lot of hardware in it, it gets heavy in it, and obviously a whole computer chip, like high-end computer chip that can run all kinds of Mac programs, right? That's gonna suck some power. So that leads to the situation where we got a 2-hour battery life, which is terrible. This is one thing that is really weird. Like it's almost like a little bit laughable. You can't even watch a full movie almost, which is one of the things that is really pushed to be used for. I guess you could plug it in while you're doing it, but that's kind of not very cool, right? But my point here is that the Apple Vision Pro is the heavy boy, the maxed out. The thing is a workstation, more stationary thing. That's one of the things as well. You can't walk around with this that much. Only a little space. You can't walk down the street with it. Also, that would look insane. But as we've seen with MacBook, we also got the MacBook Air series, and we got iPad Air and stuff like that. So I was just thinking, aren't they probably gonna release an Apple Vision Air a couple of years down the line, which is a different being altogether, which might even be transparent with glass projected on a glass, or it might be like this. But where I was just thinking, like, what if they made like a lower end in terms of raw power, and that could have a built-in battery, or at least like a battery that could last the whole day. It could be external, but a whole day battery, right? Just put it in your pocket, or whatever, or on your arm or something like that. Because what I want, though, what I imagined when I was thinking about, all right, Apple's going to make an AR headset, is this future reality, where you can walk down the street and you have just a little light piece of kit on your head that projects digital layer over everything. So actually, the reason why I was thinking about it is because I was actually driving my scooter, and I had to navigate somewhere, and you know, I'm with my phone, or even I have earbuds in. I didn't have at the point or at that time. It's just annoying. I just meant, what if I just had like a little glass on that could just, like a video game, project the fucking arrows on the roads, so that I know exactly where to go. Or going to a mall and I gotta shop for something, and it's a huge mall, you don't know where it is. You gotta locate an employee and try to ask them or whatever. It takes time. What if you just had a pair of AR glasses that could just do a little ping exactly where the product is, and you can just follow it until you got to the product. Boom, it's right there. Or at one point, Google showcased some technology which also really excited me. It's not out yet, obviously, but hopefully it's going to get at some point, where you have like a wall in a grocery store of different products, and you want to see which ones are nut free or something, or dairy free, or which ones are rated the best, or just ingredients. So it just pops up all the products there in real life, and you can just see, and you can just like touch on it and interact with the digital layer on top of reality, right? That's the whole thing. That's the whole point of artificial, of augmented reality, right? Of AR. But obviously, in the state that it is, right? The whole concept of the Apple Vision Pro is very stationary. It's just heavy load computer stuff. It's like a desktop, but on your face. That is not that. So I'm thinking, are they gonna, over the next like 5-10 years, maybe even, or maybe quicker, I don't know, slowly turn it into something like that, or are they gonna release an Air series, right? A different line that goes towards that vision instead, or is that vision just generally unrealistic? I feel like to a certain point not, because if you just put a much lower end chip in it that consumes much less power, and that's just powerful enough to it can track the environment, and it can put like low info on it. You have access to the internet through your phone or something, but it can't do heavy editing or nothing, right? Because you don't need that. You just need a little info and navigation, and somebody called you, it pops up there, little messages, just simple basic phone stuff, like a phone chip instead of a MacBook chip, right? So I was just thinking about that, how that might actually. I'm calling it now. It's my prediction that Apple is going to release the Apple Vision Air at some point. That's going to go towards that ultra light, slim, lower end, but logically lower end, because it's a different use case type of thing. It's my prediction that we're going to see that. When are we going to see it? I don't know. Hopefully sooner than later, because I feel like it's about time that we see this reality. I've been waiting for a good amount of years now for this reality where you have a digital layer on top of the real world. That's cool. That's really cool. So anyways, that was just a low rant about that. It's just something that hit my mind. That's it. All right, those were the stories of today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time. Hope you finished your tea or your whatever coffee, if you did so. And without further ado, I'll say thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.